I'll come here to today's lesson, which is entitled Introduction to Computer Fundamentals. And in our lesson today, we'll be looking at the following lesson aim. That is to make students appreciate the different computer application softwares used in the industry and the hardware that supports the different types of software. Then in terms of the specific learning objectives, the first one is we're going to identify the key components of a computer system. Then from there, we'll explain the operations of the central processing unit. Then from there, we'll look at the different functions of computer memory, which is called random access memory, RAM in short. Then from there, we'll identify the different storage systems which are used by computer systems. So the range of storage devices that are used is hard disk drive, which is built on the principle of electromagnetic fields. And then there's solid state devices, which are built on the principles of presence and absence of power, where the presence represents a 1 and the absence represents a 0. So in other words, you're talking of digital storage. Then from there, we'll identify the different input and output devices which are used by computer systems. So this is the content of our lesson today. Now, when you look at the content that we have in this picture, we are going to see a desktop computer, which is widely used in the industry. And now, but modern ones, you find that the system unit is combined with the monitor, and then you have you have a compound system. So we call those the mini computers. But now there's also, so what I want us to look at in this slide is to be able to understand what makes up the case. The case, as you can see in the picture, is sometimes called the system unit. So the system unit is the main processing part of the computer. Then we have the monitor, then we have the mouse, we have the keyboard, we have the microphone and the speakers. So the microphone and the speakers are called peripheral devices of a computer system. But now, when you look at the parts that make up the computer, that is the system unit. When you open up the system unit, you're going to find things like the motherboard, the CPU, which is short for central processing unit. Now, the central processing unit controls all the activities that happen in a computer system. As such, you find that it tends to heat up quickly, so you need a fan to cool it down. So when you see the CPU fan, this is a device that is normally placed on top of the CPU in order to cool the device. Then there's a DVD drive, which is used to process it from when you want to write components for content from your PC onto your DVD disk, which is a digital versatile disk, or CD as a disk. So the DVD drive is used for storage of the DVD is used for storage, or the CD can be used. But now, for the purpose of processing, rotating that CD or DVD so that you can write content into it or collect content from it, you need a DVD drive. So therefore, a DVD drive is a processing device. Then you have a sound card. This is another processing device which is used for processing electric current into sound. And then it also does the processing of sound into electrical pulses or electrical pulses to sounds. So that's what it does. So it's a conversion device. Then you have the VGA card. VGA card is also a processing device. Now, what it does is it converts electric current into visible light so that the monitor can be able to display the content. Then you have the RAM, which is used as a temporary storage place. So when you collect information from your hard disk drive, then it stays temporarily in the RAM while it is picked one at a time and presented into your monitor for display. Okay, so that's how it works. Now the hard disk drive is a main permanent storage device of your computer system. Now, if you notice on top there, there's the power supply unit. The power supply unit. So the power supply unit is also a processing device. It processes power from 240 volts to lower voltages which are used by the computer. So some components use 5 volts, others 12 volts, others 24 volts. So it is the job of the power supply unit to reduce the voltage into those different categories. Apart from that, the power supply unit converts power from AC power into DC power for your computer to be able to use. All right. So basically, these are the components that are used by your system unit. Now, to power up your system unit to ensure that there's consistent power supply, we have UPS, which is an interruptible power supply unit. An interruptible power supply unit. So this is a power storage device which is used by your devices. So at this point, I would recommend you pause your video, and now you can be able to categorize your these devices that I'm displaying here into different categories. So all these parts must be classified into either into one category called input, then you're going to have another category called processing, and you're going to have another category called output. So you can do that and interact with the video and write your comment on the channel, on the YouTube channel, as you watch this, and then also take time to like the page. All right. So then the next part of our lesson looks at basic software that you should be familiar with. By the way, this content is going to be used in your final examination. It will not be used in the continuous assessments, because continuous assessments, there's already a video which I've made, which gives you instructions of what to do. And there's also a PowerPoint associated with this. But this content that I'm teaching now is supposed to be used in your final year examination. I mean, end of semester exams. So now we're looking at types of software. So the first category of software is called system software, also known as operating systems. So this is a software that we normally use to allow hardware to hardware interaction. So in short, this software allows the hardware to communicate with each other at their level as machines. For example, assuming that this computer, I want to switch it on. All right. So when I press the on button, so this the system unit will now have to communicate with the monitor that is the user is ready to utilize the machine. Then the monitor will come on, the keyboard will also come on, and the mouse will also come on to allow the different parts of the computer to happen. And from there now it will run the processes, allowing me to be able to enter the username and password. So all those processes where the different parts, for example, the casing, which is our system unit speaking to the monitor, and also the system unit speaking to the or the casing speaking to the keyboard and speaking to the mouse. That level where the machines speak to each other is called. That's where the operation system is the main communicating software. Okay. So now let's move on to look at the application software. So application software is normally used when the user now wants to interact with the machine. So it allows the user to be productive, and this is the reason why it's called productive software or productivity tools. So application software, they allow the user to be able to interact with the computer depending on that function that they want the computer to do for them. For example, if you want to entertain yourself by playing computer games, then you can be able to use applications that relate with computer games. You want to listen to music, you can open applications that play music. You want to do office work, you can open office applications software. So application software are used to enhance human productivity. Then we have utility software. Utility software is software which is used to perform tasks on behalf of humans. For example, the task of removing viruses from the computer system is a job of technicians, but we can have the software do the job of the technician. And an example would be an antivirus software. And then you can send a messenger to take your letter to the post office, or you can use a file management software like post office protocol to send an email from one place to another. So that's another utility software. Okay. Then now let's look at the computing interfaces. So computing interfaces are a range of software which allows the user to interact with the computer system. For example, there's graphic user interface. It allows the user to interact with the graphics or the images that are displayed on the device. Then we have command line interface. This is where you write certain commands to be able to allow the computer to interact with the human. Then there's touch. Touch allows the user to touch, and then the computer will be able to interpret your touch. Then we also have voice interface. This is where you can command your computer to be able to interact with you, whether you're using a smart TV to command the change of channels. All those use voice commands. Then there's what is known as gesture-based interface. So this one is normally designed for people who have got difficulties of different sorts. So you can use gestures to interact with your computer system. All right, so examples of computer interfaces are displayed in this picture. So you can see the Apple graphic user interface. Then there's also the symbols used to represent the touch. And then now we've got an example of command line interface, which is used where you can see black and white there. But the simplest of command lines is, for example, when you're trying to do your Airtel money, and now you have to do the *115# to be able to command the money to move from one person to another. So that is also command line. So the particular service is called USSD. Okay. Then there's another example of touch graphic interface. So touch graphic combines the touch and the graphic interfaces in one. Then, so this is an example showing how the operating system interacts when, for example, a person is watching news online and now you want to print. So you move from the application to the operating system and to the print, where the content that you're looking at will be printed. Okay. So now there's this other exercise that I want you to perform, understanding how binary code work. So computers understand the alphabet of computers. We call it digital data representation. So that's the way computers interpret your typings that you do. So they look at them in terms of ones and zeros, where the 0 represents absence of power and 1 represents presence of power. And now this where we have the English alphabet, A, B, C, D, for computers, where they have what is known as a bit, which is a binary digit. So ones and zeros, when you combine them, that's binary digits. So that's the shortcut is called bits. Now, when you combine those ones and zeros to create a word that a computer can be able to interpret. So binary words are called bytes. And this is what is known as machine language. So the machines understand this. So here's an exercise. Take this word, convert Cavendish University Zambia into binary code. You get this instruction, you type into ChatGPT. Then it is going to show you the ones and zeros. For example, there'll be 8 characters representing C, 8 characters representing A, 8 characters like that. So that's the way the computers understands ones and zeros. Okay. Now, what are the common problems that your computers will meet as you embark on this course, as well as when you're doing your job? One of the common problems is freezing. So freezing is where a computer stops. Whatever you want to do is not responding. So that's freezing. So you can deal with that by restarting your computer. Then the other problem is crashing. Your computer can crash. So crashing is where the files, operating system files, are no longer identifiable. So in that case, the computer fails to identify the files and therefore it fails to work. So that's crashing. Then there's also slow performance. You want to perform any function and your computer is struggling. So in that case, you can clear up your RAM, and then that should be able to speed up the process. Then there's also connectivity issues where you're trying to connect to the internet and then you're failing. So in that case, you can restart your modem, and that should be able to speed up the computer. Okay, so there are these links that are provided here. If you watch those YouTube videos, you're going to learn how to do all these functions that I've just explained. So you'll be able to solve most of your problems that you meet on the course as you are doing your learning. So this is what I want to do. So don't forget to subscribe for the channel, and then you can be able to look at more content, so that anything that I post, new things, you can be able to see them automatically. Okay, thanks.